Hello my dear students and my other dear viewers. Welcome back to my channel. If you have not yet subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel so that you will be getting notifications for all my future videos. So now today's video I'll be discussing about what is linkage and recombination. So before we actually start with the topic, what is a linkage and what is recombination, we have to first go back to the Mendel study, that is Mendel's monohybrid and dihybrid cross. So according to Mendel's dihybrid cross, the characters which he has taken, he could get a test cross ratio of only 1:1:1:1. He observed the test cross ratio of 1:1:1:1 when he considered dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross is one where two characters are considered. And by using dihybrid cross, he explained what is called as an independent assortment, law of independent assortment. But this law of independent assortment was not found to be universal. So what is the important point here you have to understand is the independent assortment, the law of independent assortment is not universal. Not universal. That means it is not found in all the organisms. It is not a common feature of all the genes. All the genes do not show independent assortment. That means there are some genes which do not segregate independently. What is independent assortment? When the genes segregate independently. So there are some genes which do not segregate independently. So that phenomenon where the genes do not segregate independently, they are called as, such phenomenon, it is called as a linkage. So linkage is a phenomenon where the two genes present in a homologous pair of chromosomes. Suppose this is a chromosome, this is a homologous pair of chromosome, and say these are the two genes present. Let us say A and B, two genes are present, and these two genes which are present, they are inherited together into the same gamete. So meiosis takes place during gamete formation. So during gamete formation they are inherited. That means they enter into only one individual without getting separated. So this phenomenon where two genes are inherited together, that is called as linkage. So this linkage was not observed by Mendel. That's why independent assortment is not considered as an universal law. Before actually we go into the experiments which prove the linkage, first we will see the two important phenomenon, two important terms we will just discuss. First we will see what are first linked genes. What are first linked genes? So linked genes are those genes which are present in a homologous pair of chromosomes. Suppose we consider a homologous pair of chromosomes, then all the genes which are present in the homologous pair of chromosomes, that we call them as linked genes. Now these linked genes, the important features of linked genes are the linked genes can show linkage. Linked genes can show linkage or may not show. So what is one important feature? Linked genes may or may not show linkage. That depends upon the distance between the two genes. Suppose we are taking A, B, C, D, etc. Suppose we are taking, say for example, 4 genes. If the genes A and B are very close to each other, then they may show linkage. That means they are inherited together. But if you observe the gene A and D which are very far from each other, then they do not show any linkage. So though there are linked genes present in one homologous pair, it is not necessary that they show linkage. So suppose the genes which are not showing linkage. So what is that feature? The linked genes linked genes which do not show linkage, they are termed as, actually they are called unlinked genes. Unlinked term is used. Initially, the linked genes were defined as all the genes present in one homologous pair. But depending on the distance, they may or may not show linkage. So those two genes or those genes which do not show any linkage, they are called as unlinked genes. So for linked genes, it is very important that if they are showing linkage, they must be present in one homologous pair and they must be very close to each other. And if they are present in single homologous pair but they are not close to each other, then they are called as unlinked genes. Now let us see about what are these unlinked genes. Now that we have defined what are the linked genes, now let us see what are unlinked genes. One important point which I gave you about unlinked genes is they do not show any linkage because they are present very far from each other. They are present very far from each other. They can be present in the same homologous pair. Suppose the gene A here is present, gene B here is present. They are present in the same homologous pair, but their distance is more, so they are called as unlinked genes. Or another definition of unlinked genes is we can also consider two homologous pairs. Two homologous pairs also, these unlinked genes can be present. That means gene A suppose present in one homologous pair, gene B can be present in another homologous pair. Then the gene A and B can be called as unlinked gene. Then what do they show? What happens? Suppose gene A and B present in the same homologous pair, then which phenomenon they can show? These can show crossing over. They can show crossing over. So what is the feature of unlinked genes? Unlinked genes present in the same homologous pair of chromosomes, they show crossing over because distance between them is more. When distance between them is more, they show crossing over. If unlinked genes are present on two different homologous pairs, then how can they be separated? Here they can be separated due to independent assortment. Here they can be separated due to independent assortment. That means the unlinked gene can show both crossing over as well as independent assortment. Whereas if they are linked genes, they show linkage. So linked genes, we are defining it as all the genes present in homologous pair. If the distance is very far, they are again termed as unlinked genes. That means linked genes now, they show linkage. Linkage will always depend upon the distance between the two genes. That is what is about what are linked and unlinked genes. Now let us see another feature, another aspect from the examination point of view. We should define another point called as linkage groups. Let us see the term, what is a linkage group? What is a linkage group? Linkage group refers to the haploid set of chromosomes in any individual. The n number, n represents the haploid set of chromosomes. So n number of chromosomes or haploid set of chromosomes, that is called as a one linkage group. So haploid set. Suppose we take, for example, human. In human cells, we know the haploid number is 23. Haploid number is 23. So the number of here linkage groups will be, number of linkage groups here will be 23. 23 in female and 24 in male. Number of linkage groups in human cells, because here males have X and Y chromosome and females have X and X. X and X can form one homologous pair, but X and Y cannot form a homologous pair. So therefore, they will be considered as separate linkage groups. Wherever that is called as heterogametic sex determination. So wherever two types of gametes are formed. So in human males, there will be 24 linkage groups. Similarly, if we take the example of fruit fly, that is Drosophila. Drosophila, the haploid chromosome number here is 4. So linkage group in female will be 4, whereas in male it will be 5. Male it will be 5. Similarly, if we take say example of the insect, say butterfly, haploid number is 190. So linkage groups in female will be 190 here and males will be 191. Taking any other example of plants, if we take, like for example in maize, the haploid chromosome number is 10. So therefore linkage groups here will be 10. So that way, depending upon the haploid number, we can give the linkage groups of any organism. So here you have to remember the list of chromosome numbers given in the textbook. So it is given under the chapter reproduction in 12th class textbook. So you should refer to whatever chromosome numbers are given. Plus, in addition to that, you can read any other chromosome numbers also. That is about what is a linkage groups. Now let us see how do we another important feature. Now let us see is how are these linked genes arranged. Let us see arrangement of linked genes. By now you know what are linked genes and how they are present in a homologous pair of chromosomes. So linked genes are those which are present in homologous pair. Unlinked genes are those which can be present in homologous pair or they can be present in non-homologous chromosomes also. Now let us see arrangement of linked genes. Arrangement of linked genes. So how these linked genes are arranged, that we will see now how they are arranged. They show two types of arrangements. First one is called as a cis type of arrangement. Suppose this is a homologous pair of chromosome. Let us take, so this is one chromosome. Say this is a pair of chromosome. So this is homologous pair of chromosome. So if we take first arrangement, that is a cis arrangement. If we take the cis arrangement, then we will see. Suppose we take genes A and B. Both the dominant alleles will be present in the same chromosome. Both the dominant alleles are present in the same chromosome. Then it is called as a cis arrangement. Now, the second type of arrangement, it is called as a trans arrangement. So, in case of trans arrangement, we find just the opposite. Arrangement in case of trans. So, here one chromosome will have one dominant allele, then other one will be a recessive allele. Similarly, here suppose this is A is recessive allele, B will be a dominant allele. So this type of arrangement, this is called as a cis and trans arrangement. So when we consider any two genes, they can be arranged either in a cis manner or they can be arranged in a trans manner in any individual and in any cell. Now, next let us consider what are the experiments done in order to understand the linkage. So let us see the experiments. Scientists involved in the study of linkage. So first study of linkage was done by Batson and Punnett. Batson and Punnett studied in the plant Lathyrus odoratus. Studied in this plant Lathyrus odoratus, which is commonly called as, sweet pea. This is commonly called as sweet pea. So here he studied considering two crosses, that is he considered dihybrid cross. He performed what is it? In this, taking two characters, he performed dihybrid cross. So what is the result obtained? So what is the cross he made? So in this plant he considered color of the flowers and shape of pollen grain. Color of the flowers and shape of pollen grain. These two characters he considered, color of the flower and shape of the pollen grain. So blue colored flowers and white colored flowers are taken. Blue is the dominant character, white is the recessive character, dominant and recessive. Similarly, shape of the pollen is taken, long pollen grains, that is dominant character, and round pollen grain, that is a recessive character. So blue colored flowers and white colored flowers, long pollen grains and round pollen grains. So taking this, he performed the dihybrid cross. So now let us see what is the dihybrid cross and what is the result. For any of these topics, children, genetics, whenever you are listening, you should always have a book with you. So rest of when you watch the video again, you should have take a notebook with you and you should keep practicing. So here, first if the parents are taken. So two types of parents. So a dominant parent, that is blue colored flowers with long pollen grains, blue with long. So we can represent it as capital B, capital L crossed with white colored flowers and round pollen grain. So small b, small l, small l. F1, you know very well, F1. All completely heterozygous. And here all individuals are blue and long, that is blue colored flowers and long pollen grains. And now next the test cross is performed. So you know what is a test cross. Test cross is performed between F1 individuals crossed with recessive parent. When F1 individuals are crossed with recessive parent, then it is called as a test cross. So here 4 types of individuals are formed. So here we get 4 types of gametes we get. So what are the 4 types of gametes? This is how we get 4 types of gametes, and in this individual we get only 1 type of gamete because it is completely homozygous and here it is completely heterozygous. Now the individuals, the progeny obtained, if we see, this is the first progeny with all heterozygous and it will be blue and long. The second one, capital B, small b you get, and both small l. So this will be blue and round pollen grains. The next we get small b, capital L. So here flower color is recessive. So white flowers with long pollen grains. And the last combination which we get is completely recessive. That means it should be white and round. White and round. So what is expected ratio? Expected ratio according to Mendel, if it is, we call it as expected ratio, we should get this ratio 1:1:1:1. That means all the percentage of all is equal. All are, the percentage is how much? All will be 25% each. That is what is the expected ratio. But it is not the expected ratio. The observed ratio. Observed ratio. This was not. This is actually expected, but that was not seen. So what is observed ratio? Observed ratio is 7:1:1:7. 7:1:1:7. So this comes to around, say, 6.3% each. 6.3% each. And this comes around 43.7%. 43.7%. So here we find these are the parental combination, blue long and white round. Remember, we started with the parents, blue long and white round. So we started with those parents, and we get here what is observed due to this cross is parental combinations are more than recombinants. Recombinants are very less compared to parents. So it is observed that there is a linkage between these two genes. So what are the genes considered? Blue color, color of the flower, and the shape of the pollen grain. So they were linked together. That means their recombination percentage is very less. It is coming to only this much, 6.3. It comes to around 12.6. Recombination percentage is very less. So it is considered that the two genes show linkage. Now, this was initially observed by the two scientists, Batson and Punnett. The same linkage was also confirmed by the scientist Morgan in Drosophila. In Drosophila, he studied the X-linked inheritance in Drosophila. The genes present on X chromosome was studied, and then he found that linkage with two particular genes. So this I'm going to discuss the Morgan's experiment by using this diagram. You have this diagram in the textbook also. It is very, very important to understand the diagram first. You have to understand the diagram very well. So that was the confirmation, second experiment performed by Morgan in order to confirm that there is a linkage present between any two genes. So now let us consider what is the Morgan's experiment. Thomas Hunt Morgan, he conducted experiments in Drosophila. Drosophila is commonly called as fruit fly. Thomas Hunt Morgan conducted experiments in Drosophila. Drosophila is commonly called as fruit fly because we often find the insects getting collected near the fruit. When we expose the fruit to the air, then we find many small insects, they get collected near the fruit. So that is called as a fruit fly. And very interesting name also is given to Drosophila because Drosophila or fruit fly is used for many genetic experiments. So therefore Drosophila is also nicknamed is as Cinderella of genetics. Cinderella of genetics. Cinderella, you know the fiction character, the girl who is the say beautiful girl. It is beautiful among the girls. So it is a beautiful girl. So it is symbolizing, Cinderella symbolizes a beautiful girl. So it is so important. So Drosophila is called as a Cinderella of genetics. So any genetic study is made on Drosophila. So Morgan conducted experiments in Drosophila and he studied X-linked inheritance. X-linked inheritance in Drosophila. That means the characters, genes present on X chromosome is studied by Morgan. So what are the characters? So here in the diagram we can find, you can open your textbook also when you are studying and understand this diagram very thoroughly, so that any future numericals which are given. In my next video I am going to discuss about the numericals on linkage. So you will be able to understand how to solve the numericals. So this diagram given in the textbook is very important for you to understand, children. So whenever you are studying this, you must be thorough with the diagram also. You should keep your textbook open and then try to understand the diagram along with when you are observing this video. So cross A, what is considered? First we will see cross A. Automatically you will be able to understand cross B also. First cross if we try to understand. So in cross A, so X-linked inheritance was studied. So let us see what are the crosses made, and first we will see what is described first in cross A. If we consider cross A, the two characters which are considered here are body color and eye color. These two characters are considered, body color and eye color. So let us see dominant and recessive here. Dominant body color and recessive body color. So dominant body color is considered as a brown body color. Brown, or some books you find grey also, almost both are correct. So brown body color, and its recessive is yellow. Brown body color and its recessive is yellow. Eye color, the dominant eye color considered is red eye color and its recessive is white. Recessive is white. Now the symbols also you should understand how the symbols are given, how the symbols are represented. So for body color the symbol Y is used. Symbol Y is used. And for eye color, symbol W is used. So suppose we have to represent the body color, dominant body color, that is brown body color. We have to represent it as Y plus. We have to represent it as a Y plus. And if we have to represent, say, yellow body color, simply we can give as Y. Y is used. Similarly, eye color, red eye color, if it is represented as W plus, and if it is white eye color, it is represented as W. So first you have to understand these symbols first. If you understand and remember the symbols, easily you can follow that cross. And here you should also know X and Y chromosome. Normal chromosome, how it is represented, you know the normal chromosome symbol which is represented here. And this is how, this is the Y chromosome which is given. This is the Y, this is X chromosome, this is Y chromosome which is represented. Now let us see the first cross. So first parents are taken here. So female, this is female, this is male. Male have one X and one Y chromosome. So females, what are taken? Parent, females, yellow and white. That means they are recessive with respect to both the characters. Body color as well as eye color. They are recessive. So recessive females are taken. They are crossed with the wild type males. Wild type means normal. Normal, that is brown body color and red eye color. So when this cross is made, in the F1 generation, we get all females with brown and red. That means they are showing wild type, normal condition. And all males, they are showing recessive character, that is yellow and white. So easily Drosophila can be observed by these colors easily just by using normal hand lens or even normal dissection microscope. Easily the Drosophila insects can be easily observed. So this is in the first generation. First generation, all females, they show brown and red. So if they are showing brown and red, female and male also, easily the size of the insect, easily one can identify. Females are bigger, males are smaller. So by size also easily we can identify whether it is a male or a female, and by these colors. And all males showing recessive character, that is yellow and white. Now to observe the second generation. Second generation was produced by the F1 individuals are intercrossed. F1 individuals are intercrossed. That means female and male of F1 generation, they were crossed. So here we have to understand this particular step is not given in the textbook. Children, you should know this is the gamete formation which I have shown. So that step is not given. That's why for most of you it becomes very difficult to understand. Once you know how the gametes are formed, for you it will be very easy to understand the entire diagram. So just by looking at it, all of you may feel it is very difficult. But when you actually go through it, try to follow, it will be very easy. Once you understand the cross A, the cross B easily you can follow, because it is the same except for the characters are different. So now for obtaining second generation, the gametes, these are the gametes representing the first generation. Female gametes. Suppose we take female gametes. Female gametes will be of 4 types. Female gametes will be of 4 types. So here little bit I'll explain to you how we can get 4 types of female gametes first, and then we will see the male gametes, 2 types of male gametes. So first is, let us see female gametes. So how female gametes can be formed? So F1 individuals, if we take F1 individuals, we can find F1 female. First we will take F1 female. So this is one chromosome which are represented, F1 female, and then this is the other chromosome. So if we take here, let us see what are all the genes present here. On this we find Y and W. Here we find Y plus and W plus. So this female will give 4 types of gametes. So what are those 4 types? First 2 are these 2 types which are called as parental. So what are parental gametes? Exactly these 2. Exactly these 2. So exactly you will find these 2. So what is this combination? Y and W. Here what is the combination? Y plus and W plus. So exactly these are called parental combinations. Now recombinants are also formed due to crossing over. Crossing over is taking place. You know the gametes are formed during meiosis. So recombinants are formed due to crossing over. So when crossing over is taking place between these 2 genes, we get different combination. One combination will be Y and Y plus. That's what I have shown here. One combination Y and Y plus. Another combination Y plus and W. So this is how when we represent the recombinant, suppose this is one, this is another gamete formed. So how do we show recombinants? For one recombinant we get Y and W plus. So Y and W plus. Other recombinant we get Y plus and W. This is how 4 types of gametes are formed from female. Suppose we take male. Male can give only 2 types of gametes. So what is the male genotype here? So this is what if we consider in the male represented there. Suppose this is the Y chromosome and this is the X chromosome and this is the Y chromosome. X chromosome will have the genes. This F1 you have to observe, students. F1 you have to see. So here Y and W is present. Y and W. So this X chromosome will give one gamete. This Y chromosome will give another gamete. So only 2 types are possible because crossing over cannot take place. X and Y chromosomes cannot form any homologous pair. You know crossing over can take place only in homologous pair. And you know between the say non-sister chromatids, the crossing over will take place. So crossing over cannot take place between 2 non-homologous. They cannot pair any homologous. Pairing cannot be seen. That's why the male will give only 2 gametes. That's why here I have given 2 types of gametes are formed from male. Now simply what you have to do, Each one, these are the 4 gametes formed in female. Each gamete is going to fuse with one of the gamete of male. In the first part here, the male progeny is shown. Male progeny is shown in the first part. That means this X chromosome of female will fuse with Y chromosome. This is another second X chromosome, second gamete will fuse with male, second male, that is the gamete with Y chromosome. Similarly, this is third gamete fusing with the Y chromosome. Similarly, this is fourth gamete fusing with Y chromosome. So here we are getting parental. First two are parental, the other two are recombinant. So we are getting these are parental combinations of males and these are the recombinants of males. Similarly, female. Same progeny we are going to get for female also. So this is how the gametes here. Only this part is very important to follow. Easily you can fuse and then understand the combination. So male and female. What are we getting in male and female progeny? They are parental. This side all male and female are parental. These are all recombinants. Now what else is mentioned? What is the percentage of parental and recombinants? Parental are showing 98.7%. What are parental? To start with, yellow, white and brown, red. These are the parents. So parental combinations are how many? 98.7. And recombinants are only 1.3%. So this is the observation. Normally what happens in a test cross? Equal percentage should be there. Both parental and recombinants. So all should be 25% each. But here parental combinations are much more than the recombinants. The same second experiment is done by using the eye color and size of the wings. So let us, now this is what is the cross A. Now let us see what is taken in the cross B. So once again you have to understand carefully, keeping once again observing it, similarly keeping the cross given in the textbook. So now let us see what are the characters taken in cross B. Suppose cross B, if we take, cross B is taken between eye color and size of the wings. Size of the wings. Eye color and size of the wings. Eye color, the dominant eye color. What is the dominant eye color? Dominant eye color is red eye color. Red eye color is the dominant eye color. And its recessive is white. Recessive is white. Size of the wings. Size of the wings are normal. Dominant means normal wings. Normal wings. And its recessive character is the miniature wings. Miniature means very small size wings. Very small size of the wings. That is called as a miniature wings. So here the eye color is represented by the letter W. So if it is red eye color, suppose red eye color, it is given as W plus. So the red eye color is given as W plus. I will give it with the color. It is given as W plus, and white eye color is given as a W. Similarly, normal size of the wings is given as M plus, and miniature wings is given as M. So taking this, the similar experiment as done, as we have seen here, similar we got. So here females are with white and miniature crossed with normal males, that is red color and red color of the eye and normal size of the wings. So in F1 we got females are all wild. Wild means normal. Normal, what is normal? Red color of the eye and normal size of the wings. Whereas males are showing recessive characters. White color of the eye and miniature size of the wings. Now the F1 individuals are intercrossed. When F1 individuals are intercrossed, just like we have done in the cross A, females will show 4 types of gametes. Females will form 4 types of gametes, whereas males will form 2 types of gametes. And when the fusion takes place, after fusion we get F2 generation. So here F2 generation, males parental and recombinant. Similarly, females also, these are parental combination, and that is the recombination. So what is parental combination? One combination is white and miniature, the other one is red and normal. And recombinants are white and normal and red and miniature. But here we find difference in percentages. Parental combinations are showing 62.8%, whereas recombinants are 37.2%. So here recombinants are more compared to parental. That means here more crossing over or distance between the two genes is more. If the two genes are very close, the recombination will be very less. This was what the observation given by Morgan's experiment on X-linked chromosome. So based on that, X-linked inheritance. So based on this, his student, Morgan's student, Alfred Sturtevant, based on the studies of Morgan, his student Alfred Sturtevant, he constructed a chromosome map. He gave an idea of what is called as a chromosome map, or it is also called as a gene mapping. He gave an idea of what is called as gene mapping. Mapping means finding out the distance between the two genes, which is actually very important finding, very important discovery. Later it led to very important theory, very important experiment. All of you must have studied Human Genome Project. So this gene mapping helped in Human Genome Project. So now we know what are all the genes present in human cells, and also what is the distance between the different genes. So gene mapping is finding out distance between the two genes. So Alfred Sturtevant explained this, constructed a chromosome map based on the percentage of recombination. He directly observed the percentage of recombination is equal to the distance between the two genes. Distance between two genes. So what is the meaning of this? Recombination percentage is directly related to distance between the two genes. If distance is more, recombination also is more. Whereas the linkage, here we can also compare the linkage. Linkage will be inversely proportional to distance. It is in inverse proportion to distance. Inversely proportional. That means if distance is very less, linkage will be more. If distance is more, linkage is less. Recombination and linkage therefore are two opposite. Recombination is directly proportional to distance. If distance is more, percentage of recombination is more. So therefore, percent of recombination is directly given as the distance between two genes. Suppose there is 1% recombination. Suppose there is 1% recombination, that is directly equal to the distance given as 1 map unit, or it is also called as 1 centimorgan. 1 map unit, or it is 1 centimorgan. So it is given as 1 C capital M, 1 centimorgan. So if we know what is the percentage of recombination, we can easily give the distance between the two genes. So there is a simple formula we can know the percentage of recombination, and later I will be also discussing the numericals which are related to this linkage in my next video. So percentage of recombination, which I am giving as RC, recombination equal to total number of recombinants. Total number of recombinants by total progeny. Total progeny into 100. So how do we calculate the percentage of recombination? Total number of recombinants by total progeny into 100. That's how we can say what are the recombinants. So suppose we take total progeny, say total number of recombinants we are getting as 80, say recombinants, and total progeny let us take 2000. So simply what we have to do, 80 by 2000 into 100. So how much do we get here? We get 4 centimorgan. So distance between those two genes will be 4 centimorgan. So based on this, I'll be also discussing some numericals. Okay, so here up to here, today's video we will conclude up to here. So in my next video, I'll be discussing about little bit about the types of linkage is there. Types of linkage I have to discuss. Recombination little more in detail along with some numericals, and also about crossing over. So these aspects we'll be discussing in my next video. Thank you very much, children. Study very well. Go through the videos. You can ask any doubts in my comments box. I'll be going through that regularly, and I'll definitely try to clarify your doubts also. Thank you very much, children. Please share in large numbers and also subscribe. So thank you one and all. Thank you all of you.